All right. So somehow we are already in October.
It happens.
It happens fast. And last time we did a full quarterly market report, we didn't quite have the numbers that were compelling to say there was a shift occurring, but we all felt it in kind of different levels. So some of it was transactions. We were seeing, challenges there. From the qualifying broker side, you were seeing it. And now we're starting to see it on the web analytics side. So now we have 3 months worth of data to look back at. And in some ways, it looks like we were correct. There's been a shift in the market. So this quarter, it's more of a question of where are things heading towards the end of the year, and where are we going to see the biggest market settling. And so looking at the report we put together, in the middle of it, we have median prices year over year increases, and then we have total number of units percentages for those same areas, and for the most part it's decreases. So Laura, what are we seeing across the board? Like, what's the general consensus of what's happening in the market?
Across the board for this year, we've certainly seen a slowdown. The interest rates went up in, I think it was June, and that kind of called a halt to the wild and crazy market that we've seen the past couple of years. First-time home buyers are having a much harder time qualifying. Cash buyers are still strong, of course. We're seeing higher inventory because properties are staying on the market longer, generally in the 60 to 90 day range, assuming they're priced right. And buyers have more of a handle on things. It's not as much of a seller's market anymore.
Yeah, so after 2 years of, there's no other way to paint it, just almost crazy market.
Yeah.
Now we're starting to see a little bit more of a settling back to the norms, if you will.
Yeah, and I think it's a healthy thing, frankly.
Yeah.
I think that it's good. It's gonna it's gonna level the playing field a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of buyers would agree with that. And some sellers maybe not so much.
Sellers are
maybe not so much. Well, but let's touch on that real quick, because from a seller's perspective, looking at the data that is the average price, but also the median price, year over year, some of those areas saw increases of 20 to 30%. So I think sellers should still feel pretty good.
I think sellers are still feeling good about it. I think some of them are feeling a little bit too optimistic. I think there's a learning curve here.
Sure.
Sellers are starting to realize that, gosh, maybe we're not seeing quite the appreciation that we saw the past couple of years, and then they're getting an education. Prices, we're seeing more price decreases than we were a year ago, and I think things are starting to get a little more realistic.
Yep.
So Gabs, I know last time we talked about this, you were mentioning that you were seeing a lot more terminations. What's been happening this last quarter?
We've definitely seen less terminations. They're still out there. But one of the interesting things that we've been seeing is there have been more, I hate the term bidding wars, but multiple offer situations. And I guess it just really depends on the price point, because some listings are still sitting and having a hard time selling. Others, and I think that actually speaks to what Laura was just saying, right? Some sellers have not yet caught up with what the market's doing.
Sure.
Others, if the price is right, they're getting a ton of these buyers who have been just waiting on the back burner for these prices to come down a little bit. So we're seeing a lot of multiple offers. We've had a few where it's cash, a few where they're waiving contingencies like inspections. So again, if the price is right, people are still moving really quickly.
Yeah, and I think that's actually something important to note, is we are still having properties that we list when they go live, they're going under contract in 24 hours.
Yep.
And that's still occurring.
Yeah.
Just not quite at the churn rate that we had, let's say, 3 months ago.
Right.